All right, welcome back. So last class we talked about mathematical operators in Java. So we have plus, minus, times, divide. We talked about a new operator called the modulus or mod operator. This is also the remainder operator, we call it. We also learned about square root and pow, and there are lots of other commands within the math class. We'll talk more about those a little bit later. Today we're going to focus on these operators, and we didn't discuss last day. The video was a little bit long, but we didn't talk about the order of operations or operator precedence. So in what order do these things rank? So if you had a whole bunch of these on one line, what would happen first? So let me just start with an example, a quick one. So I'm going to make an integer variable x. So again, that creates a little storage space in your computer's memory, and I can put data into it. You can even put a calculation. So I could put 4 plus 5. Semicolon. Okay, so Java will do the math first. So it does the right-hand side of this equation. It does the right-hand side first, and then it puts the answer into this variable. So that's the last thing it does is puts the answer into the variable. Okay, but what if I had 4 plus 5 times 2? So instead of just going from left to right, Java actually follows BEDMAS, which we learned usually in middle school math. So it does brackets first, but there are none. Then it does exponents, there are none. And then it does division and multiplication first. And then it does addition and subtraction. So this will actually do 5 times 2 first, which is 10, and then it's going to add 4, which is 14. So if I just quickly print x, then that should print the value that's currently stored in x, which is going to be 14. Let's just check that out. All right, 14. Okay. So if I put brackets around here, then that is going to change things. Okay. So now Java will do this sum first, 9, and then it will multiply by 2. And so now if I run it, now x should be 9 times 2, which is 18. And there you go. Okay, so what about all of these other operators? So it turns out if you had, let me just change this to 6 divided by 3 times 2. Okay, if you had something like this, division and multiplication are at the same level of precedence, so it's a tie. So that means it just goes from left to right, evaluating each one. Same thing with plus and minus. So if I had a plus and a minus, they have the same level of precedence, so it just goes from left to right, evaluating each expression. Okay. Now, modulus. Where does that fit in? So if I put, let's say, mod, or the remainder operator. So this also happens before addition and subtraction. So this is kind of grouped together with multiplication and division. So we're going to do 3 mod 2 first, which the answer is 1. The remainder is going to be 1. And then I'm going to add 6, which is 7. So I should get an answer of 7 here. Okay. So it'd be neat to make a little chart here, order of operations, and we'll do a ranking. So number 1 is going to be actually, sorry, I forgot about one order of operations, and that's negation. So we actually didn't even talk about this in the last note. Negation is when you do something like this, negative 6. Okay. So you're basically multiplying 6 by negative 1. So that might be straightforward. You might already have assumed that. But this plays kind of a bigger role. If I had something like this, like if int y equals 6, and then I said negative y. So yes, you are allowed to do this. You could just say negative y instead of negative 1 times y. That works also, but you can actually just add a negative sign, and that multiplies by negative 1. So this is called negation, and that happens first. Okay, that takes first precedence over all these operators. Okay. Second comes multiplication, division, and modulus. Okay, so that's the next thing that happens. And all of these it's a tie. It's all at the same level of precedence. So if there are multiple operators, then we just go from left to right. Okay. After that's done, then we do addition and subtraction. Okay. And string concatenation. So we don't really think of this as a math operator, but if you're joining two strings together with a plus sign, that's going to be on this level of precedence. So this will happen after multiplication, division, and modulus. Okay, and then finally is the equal sign, which again, we really haven't talked about the equal sign in depth, but that is actually called the assignment operator. So I know in math class we call this the equal sign, but in programming we actually call this the assignment operator. So an example, this question right here, I'm assigning 6 to y. So y is a variable in RAM, and I'm assigning it the value of 6. So in computing, the equal sign actually means put this value inside this variable. So we're assigning this to this variable. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so that's it for this note. I guess maybe we'll just end with an example. So if I have something like 6 plus 2 times 3 minus 8 modulus 3 divided by 2. Okay. So what's going to happen first? Well, negation happens first, but we don't have any negation here. Next comes times, divide, and mod. And so we just go from left to right. So we're going to do that first, which is 6. Okay. So if I just do some rough work over here, x is going to be 6 plus 6 minus 8 mod 3 divided by 2. Okay, and then what happens next? Well, we're going to do modulus next. So I'll just carry down my rough work here. So x is going to be 6 plus 6 minus. All right, so 8 mod 3. So 3 goes into 8 how many times? Twice, but what's the remainder? So 3 times 2 is 6. So the remainder, what's left over, is 2. So we're going to have 2 and then divided by 2, this piece at the end. Okay, and then what happens next? Well, we're going to do division before addition and subtraction. So this is going to be 6 plus 6 minus 2 divided by 2, which is 1. Okay, and then we're going to go left to right. We're going to do this first, so it's 12. And then finally, we have 12 minus 1, which is 11. Let's see if we got that right. So I'll compile and run it. And there we go. We got 11. Okay, so that's it. Make sure you know this order of operations, just in case we have a lot of operators on the same line. Okay, thanks for watching.